Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another week of Good Guy Sports, joined by myself, your host for today, Blake Gerke, Jackson Gerke, Blake Lamberger, and Mike Roby. Back, as you can see from his background, if you're watching on YouTube, from his viewing of the balloons. Plenty of hot air on this show today as well, so be ready for that. But we're going to start with a little bit of playoff baseball chat as we are well into the MLB postseason as we record here on the 16th of October. Currently, we're in the midst of the championship series in both the National League and the American League. The Mariners are currently hold a 2-1 lead against the Toronto Blue Jays after last night's defeat in Seattle for the Mariners. Although after the Mariners themselves winning the first two games in Toronto, so certainly off to a good start for the Mariners there in that American League series. And then in the National League as well, the Dodgers have stolen the first two games of this series in Milwaukee against the number one seed, Milwaukee Brewers. An absolute gem complete game from Yamamoto in game two, it was that really helped to push the Dodgers over the edge. So you have to say, coming back to Los Angeles for game three tonight, I think game three tonight would be in LA,
Game
wouldn't it?
three.
Yeah,
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 the game three's in LA. Glass Snow is on the mound for the Dodgers.
yeah. So you certainly think they hold the keys to the castle there with those two away victories to start the series. But Mike, I'll start
hmm
with you as we sit here today. What's jumping out to you right now in these playoff series as we record here today?
Well, you look at the first two games, the Dodgers. I mean, Yamamoto complete game. Game one, Snell pitched 8 innings, one hit. So the first three games, they've given up what, 5 hits to the Dodgers have given up 5 hits to the Brewers. I mean, it's just their pitching has just been awesome. But I think the big highlight was that double play the other night.
Right.
But just to set the stage, um, you had bases loaded with one out. Muncy comes up and hits a long fly ball to center field. Center fielder jumps up, hits his glove, but then the ball hit the wall. And then the ball ended up before it hit the ground back into the center fielder's glove. So the runners weren't sure what was going on. So they all tag up. But as soon as the ball hit the wall, it's a live ball,
Yeah.
which means there's a force out at every play.
Crazy.
And the center fielder threw it to the cutoff guy, who then threw a strike to the catcher, and the catcher's foot hit the plate before the runner.
Mm.
So the runner's out on a force out. So that was the first out. Then the catcher jogs down to third base because the guy on second stayed on second. And that's out number two. That's a force out at third. And because they already had one previous out, that's the end of the inning. So it was crazy. I had to watch the replay several times to see what really happened.
That
But
was one of those plays that you have to watch back a few times,
yeah,
kind of
yeah,
figure out what the heck's going on here,
I
huh?
know. And then tonight you got Max Scherzer on the mound for the Blue Jays,
Crazy.
and
Mm.
this will mean Max will be playing with a sixth team in postseason.
I believe he's setting some kind of record
He's
tonight.
tying a record. I think he's like the
Okay.
fourth player in MLB history to play with six different teams in the postseason.
Yeah, he's certainly if I think playoff baseball and I'm picturing a guy on the bump, Max Scherzer is pretty high on that list, isn't he?
Yeah.
He's had some battles in the postseason. Obviously, you know, most notably for your Washington Nationals, of course, Mike, but he's certainly been around in terms of these postseason teams looking for a veteran arm, and he's
hmm
kind of the guy that you call, right? So I'll be curious to see if Toronto can lean on him tonight.
Yeah.
They'll need
Yeah.
him, obviously. In Seattle. going down 3-1 would be a big mountain to climb tonight. So it's a big game for Toronto tonight, isn't it?
Yeah.
Or tonight, yeah, tonight.
Well, I think it's a big game for Mariners because they don't want it to be tied up and have all the momentum shift to the Blue Jays.
Be one of those weird series where the away team ends up
Yeah.
winning all the games. But it's been an interesting series so far. And I think as well, yeah, I think we mentioned Yamamoto complete game. I think I saw somewhere it was the first playoff complete game, I believe, since 2017,
Hmm.
if my stats are correct there, which is pretty
Yeah.
crazy. Good to see kind of bucking the trend of playoff baseball. Pitchers coming in and out every couple of innings. Good to see a good old fashioned complete game, huh?
Hmm. No, it was, yeah, he gave up a home run to the first batter,
First pitch.
first pitch, and that was it. After that, he was lights out.
Sometimes you just got to get it out of your system, I guess, huh?
Yeah. Yeah.
Hmm.
Very nice, very nice. Jackson, what do you made of these playoff series so far and where we stand in terms of your MLB playoff outlook as we sit here today?
Well, I think for me, what jumps out to me is that Seattle was jumping off to a 2-0 lead in the ALCS game 3 until things just kind of took a turn where the Blue Jays were down by a run and they tied it up, and now it was headed towards their way, and that was where the momentum has shifted, and the Blue Jays just kept scoring more runs after runs after runs, and that's where things just took a turn. And now and then all of a sudden the pressure now was on the Mariners, and a large part because of their hot hitters of what the Blue Jays were getting, and 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 Baruera and Boa and those guys. And if you and so if you looked at what happened in this is that the what happened the in the Blue Jays for their game 3 win last night is that Vladimir Guerrero Jr. and George Springer just they what it appeared to be that to me is that they woke up their bats, and then all of a sudden Seattle just couldn't get any, but just could not capitalize on any offense or anything that they had left in the tank, is which was really the difference in the game last night. And and so I think that you had Guerrero and Springer and really after 2 innings, it appeared to me that Lucas had scored, and Guerrero and so Kurt and those guys just kept those guys for the Blue Jays kept scoring more runs, and that was
Yeah, it
really
was a bit
the
of
difference
a
in the game
it was
last
a
night,
big
Blake.
bounce back. They obviously were very disappointed to lose the first two games of the series, weren't they?
Yes,
And so
yes.
they bounced back in a big fashion, obviously. Um, with that game three, like you said, a lot of home runs going off there, as you would expect for a number one seed in the American League. They eventually the bats will get warm. It's a matter to see whether or not they're able to keep that momentum in game four tonight. Obviously, the Seattle crowd will be pretty raucous there at T-Mobile, won't
Right.
they? So um,
Absolutely.
that'll be a big one. But B.O. Lineberger, any thoughts on the MLB playoffs so far as we sit here today? Any how do you feel about the matchups?
I mean, I think, I just really enjoyed what Mike had talked about. We were in a text with Jackson about that play. Maybe one of the few times that'll ever get recorded. I don't know. We've had some good games. Mike, how long did that game last the other night that went into extra innings?
It
So
went 15 inning game. It probably
game
I think
five
it
of the
lasted about
DS, yeah,
five, close to 5 hours.
Good
Thank
gracious.
goodness I was in Albuquerque because I saw the whole
West Coast
game.
time zone.
Yeah, I was
I was
able to
sat there
watch the
passed out on
entire
my
game.
couch on the East Coast, man.
Yeah, I mean it would have, it ended in Albuquerque at 11 o'clock, so it would have been 1 o'clock on the East Coast.
Right.
It
Right.
was it that 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 tag at home plate.
Mm.
Mm.
Uh, in extra innings. I mean, that was a phenomenal play.
Yeah, yeah,
But
It's
yeah,
been good baseball. I
it's
don't
been
know if
great.
the
absolutely.
people are cheering on the teams. I mean, the Dodgers are a big market team, but I kind of enjoy the smaller market teams. Is
Hmm.
Seattle still in it?
Yeah.
Yeah, so Seattle is up 2 games to 1 against Toronto in the American League. Dodgers just tipped off here, or tipped off or threw off in the top of the first here
Yeah.
in their game.
And
Uh,
what exactly is a Mariner, Jackson? Is that is this a seller? What is a Mariner?
I believe that's a great question, Blake. I believe it has something to do
Is a fisherman.
with some sort of
Fisherman, that's
a
what I
yes,
thought.
fisherman, some sort of yes, some sort of a captain slash fisherman, um, kind of a shoreman kind of guy. I'm guessing
So he's
that's
a
what a mariner
moose, but
is.
his outfit, he's a moose. This is a classic Auburn Eagles Tiger situation where the name does not match the mascot. I could love this more.
I don't know.
Yeah,
The Seattle Mariner
how
mascot
could you
is a
not?
moose. Yeah, it's interesting. I guess
Yeah.
they
The Mariner Moose.
sometimes. I guess you have like the Philly Fanatic is just like a big green blob, right? So
Hmm.
Yeah.
sometimes the mascot doesn't really pertain exactly to the team name, but Mariner Moose is on a hot streak right now for sure.
Yeah.
So
A San Diego chicken.
there you go. That
Hmm,
works too. That works too.
I like that.
But yeah, no, I think these series are going to be. I think the games tonight. I wish we were
Yeah.
recording tomorrow night because we'd have a bit more information about these series, wouldn't we? But
Hmm.
the 2 games tonight, definitely keep an eye on these results if you're listening, watching here to us tonight.
What you guys
Because
what you guys think about the Ken Griffey Jr. wearing out the organ, being such a fantastic? Did anybody know he could play the keys like he did before the game?
oh, is he playing the organ at the stadium?
Uh-huh. Yeah,
Wow.
made a commercial out of it and everything. But like, he's got the man of many talents.
Oh wow, look at that. I think the kid can do just about anything, can he, up there
Hmm.
in Seattle. So good to see Griffey there doing his thing for sure. Yeah. But yeah, no, I think the games tonight will be massive. If the Dodgers win tonight at home, go up 3-0, we can kind of pencil them in. Likewise with Seattle going up 3-1 in their series against Toronto. So, it goes without saying, but games tonight are going to be massive in terms of giving us a little bit more info as to who we think will be finding their way into the October Classic World Series here as we progress. Any more baseball thoughts, analysis from anybody that before we move on?
Real quick, like I said earlier, if the Mariners were to lose again, then the pressure starts to build on them because you don't want to go to Toronto and a 2-2 series game because that is going to make and that's going to take the crowd out of it and a Blue Jays heavy crowd at the Great White north of the border in Canada, and that's going to be a tall task order if you're the Mariners. So you got to win tonight, or else you're going to find yourself
Yeah.
in a 2-2 series game, and it's somewhere you don't want to be in. And
Yeah.
win tonight, you're in a comfortable spot in a free one with a chance to close the series. But if not, then it's going to be a long night for you to for you
Yeah.
to for you to go back um, for the series to switch into Toronto in a 2-2 a series game. So
Yeah. Well,
gotta win this game at night.
yeah, game five will be in Seattle.
Right. But I'm
It's
saying,
a
Mike,
it's a 2-3-2,
right.
Yeah.
But
isn't it?
but right. But all I'm
Yeah.
saying to you, Mike, is that if the Mariners were to lose and the series is tied 2 games apiece, then they're gonna then you're gonna find yourself in a tough situation dealing with
Hmm.
this Blue
Oh,
Jays crowd up in the Rogers Center.
yeah.
That's
No,
all I'm saying.
absolutely. No, absolutely. I agree completely. Especially if they Mariners lost last night 13-4.
Right.
And if they lose again tonight, I mean, all the momentum is going to be shifted to the Blue Jays.
But to your
And
point, Mike, in a 2-3-2, Seattle winning the first two at
yeah,
home really kills that home field advantage that Toronto thought they had.
yeah, yeah.
So that's a massive factor, isn't it?
Hmm. Yeah,
And likewise in the National League Championship Series as well, because if Milwaukee wants to get back into this series, they're going to have to win at least 2 out of 3 in
That's right.
LA at
Yeah,
Dodger
that's right.
Stadium on the West
They
Coast.
they don't.
It's a
Yeah,
tall task.
they have the Brewers no longer have home field advantage.
It's a very tall task. So they're definitely climbing uphill in that series, but
Hmm.
we've seen stranger things, haven't we? So we certainly can't rule anything out, can we?
No.
Oh, we sure have. Absolutely.
All right. Well, I think we'll certainly update the MLB playoffs as we progress here through the next week or two. But let's jump to a little bit of college football chat, if you don't mind, gentlemen. Spend a couple minutes talking about,
Anchor down.
well, the Vanderbilt Commodores. We hyped up their big matchup 2 weekends ago against the Tide. It didn't quite work out the way we thought it was. They were in that game, but they got a big chance to bounce back this weekend in Nashville against the number 10 ranked LSU Tigers, who themselves are coming off of a solid victory against the Gamecocks. No offense, Blake and Jack, but that's certainly one of the big matchups to keep an eye on this weekend. Noon kickoff in Nashville.
Yeah, but Nussmeier had 2 interceptions against the Gamecocks.
It wasn't the cleanest of victories, was it?
No.
No, not at all.
So that's certainly one game that
And
I've got.
And Vandy's coming off a bye, so they're rested.
They're pretty fresh. They're at home. They're going to be underdogs in that game. Both, top 25 ranked teams.
Yeah.
So that's certainly a big game to keep an eye on. At the same time, Jack will be at the Duke versus Georgia Tech game at
Right.
noon as well. So busy college football weekend. That will be a big matchup in the ACC with Georgia Tech 12th ranked, undefeated themselves, traveling to Durham. That will be a big test for them, won't it? And then as well in the SEC, we got some huge games. A top 10 matchup with the Bulldogs hosting the Ole Miss Rebels. Ole Miss being ranked 5th, University of Georgia ranked 9th. And Georgia's about a touchdown favorite as well, which is interesting. Obviously, got to give them their home field respect there, right? So, and then as well, the Crimson Tide hosting the Tennessee Volunteers at home as well, another 6 versus 11 matchup. So, some great games in the SEC this weekend in particular. Gentlemen, any games that you feel strongly about standing out to you this weekend?
Oh, I think you're forgetting one thing. The Bush Tush game from 20 years later out in South Bend between
What?
the USC Trojans and the Notre Dame Fighting Irish. That's the game I have my eye on. And you think about it, the classic matchups between Pete Carroll and the USC Trojans going into South Bend or at Trojan Stadium out in USC. Those games are an instant classic. And we get to get this matchup 20 years later. And that to me is what I have my eye on. And what a great fascinating game it is to watch prime time from South Bend at Notre Dame Stadium. What better way to watch a college football game out there than an Irish stadium in Notre Dame? USC is coming off a win against 17-ranked Michigan last week against the Wolverines last week, and then you have Notre Dame. They were coming off their win last week against NC State. So I think heading into this matchup, I believe that with Notre Dame and USC from what they have stand by of what their quarterback is. So I think to me, Notre Dame is a favorite, but this kind of matchup that I think to me and in this game for this instant class matchup and for me in this game, I have USC upsetting Notre Dame in this one. The US, you hear me? You hear it here first.
I'm
the
listening.
USC Trojans are going to go to South Bend and upset the Notre Dame Fighting Irish. Am I
Jackson
crazy?
Gerke, not so fast.
Hey.
What?
Fast, Jackson.
What?
Hey, Jackson, you forgot about one key ingredient. Paul
What's that?
J. Brown, PJ Brown, and the Fighting Irish. He has a statue, a wood carved statue. What's the little man that goes out in front of the marching band? Does anybody know?
I know. I'm aware that
What's
he
his
should
name?
be that PJ Brown, Paul Brown, right?
Yeah,
That he should be aware that the USC Trojans and the Notre Dame Fighting Irish will always be and always is an instant classic
that's right.
rivalry for all of these years, and still is. And to me, yeah, Notre Dame is still Notre Dame's probably still going to win the game. But I'm telling you right
Thank
now,
you.
Blake,
Now
You
we're
just said
talking,
USC
Notre
was going to
Dame,
win.
Now we're talking.
well, I thought about it, but Notre Dame's probably going to win slightly. But I'm just saying to you right now, Blake, that USC is going to put up points. They'll probably lose the game, but they're going to cover in a close one.
Okay, so
on the
Notre Dame
road
to
in
win,
South
USC
Bend.
to cover.
Yes,
Is that
Right.
what we're saying there?
yes.
Now we're
That's-
talking, Jackson.
yes.
PJ's going to be a lot happier.
Yes,
His
that's-
favorite
that's
person.
what I'm doing.
To be fair, Notre Dame is 9.5-point favorites, which is a bit steep. So I wouldn't
I
disagree with that.
agree.
I wouldn't disagree with that. Yeah.
Well, if Notre Dame were to lose, that pretty much would seal their
Mhm.
their fate this year.
Yeah, I mean, at a 4-2 record, you could argue they're lucky to be ranked 13th, aren't they? So they really need this game to solidify their title credentials, don't they? So that's
It's the Irish Guard. That's the guy's
Okay.
name. The Irish Guard. That's the guy that leads the band out on the field and the drummers out on the field. Very unique, kind of cool college situation.
Yeah, for sure. Good tradition. Mike, what matchups are you most looking forward to keeping an eye on this weekend?
Well, another one I'm keeping an eye on is Utah versus BYU.
I knew you were going to talk about that. The good Utah matchup, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they're playing in at BYU, but that'll be a interesting game. The BYU is 6-0, but they really look at their schedule. They really haven't played anybody, and they just barely beat Arizona last week in overtime.
Yeah.
And of course, Utah lost to Texas Tech. Texas Tech beat them 34-10.
So they look like they're the class of the Big 12 this year, don't they? The Red Raiders.
Yeah, I think so. But it'll be that'll be a good game.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, that's
big rivalry out there.
Absolutely. Yeah, the big Utah Derby, as they call it out there.
Mhm.
Utah taking on BYU. That's a great matchup.
Yeah.
Jackson, I want to pick your brain here on some of these two big SEC matchups in particular. Well, Vanderbilt LSU is also a big SEC matchup, to be fair.
Well,
So
right.
I only got a limited amount of time here, but we got Alabama versus Tennessee. This is one of the oldest rivalry games in the country. Tennessee versus Alabama. These teams do not like each other. Let's call it like we see it here. And then Georgia versus Ole Miss as well. Do we think these matchups are going to tell us a lot about these teams, or do we think because there's so many high-ranked teams in the SEC, maybe Georgia losing to Ole Miss, Alabama losing to Tennessee, it's not the end of the world in terms of all four of these teams might make the playoffs, or do we think we're going to learn a lot about these teams this weekend, Jackson?
Well, I think we're going to learn a lot by these two teams this weekend. I mean, but let's face it, Tennessee is going to have a tough test ahead of them. That it's going to be a night game at Bryant-Denny Stadium in Alabama. They are not used to this, but if they get the most rushing yards, then they got a chance. Otherwise, I think Alabama. Now, Alabama has some injury concerns. Jalen Miller is questionable for this game. Something that we're going to have to learn and keep our eye on, like you said, Blake. And then another thing for me to keep my eye on is Ole Miss. Can Ole Miss go to Athens and Sabre Stadium and beat the Bulldogs? That's something that we're gonna learn and find out come game time when those teams kick off. and meet each other on Saturday prior to game time. And I think to me, heading into this matchup, between Alabama and Georgia, you have
And Tennessee.
Alabama. Well, I think Alabama, Ty Simpson, the way that he's been playing right now is on a high level. He has stepped it up. Alabama is off to a great start. They are looking very good right now, and I can tell you that with Proctor and this guy that's number 75, he is a beast, and he is a big fella that you don't want to mess with. He can run the ball, and he can eat and he can eat a stack of pancakes, and he can do it all, man.
Is that right? Does he put a lot of butter and syrup on those?
You better believe it. He does, and that kind of guy, and he can do it all, man. I think that he can score and just do it all. And man, this Alabama team is on to something here because they ever come off a win against Missouri. They survived. I got to tell you something. They were in the hostile environment. They had a challenge. They had their challenge heading into the game last week against Missouri. That they did felt a little bit of a scare, and they were some critical mistakes in some areas of the game, but yet they found a way to make big plays at the big moments at the right time, and that's how they got it done. Same thing happened to them against your Vanderbilt Commodores in Tuscaloosa, Blake.
Hey.
And so I think, and so to me, and then the week before, and then 2 weeks before that against Georgia, and they just found a way to win. This Alabama team just since their loss to Florida State, they keep finding ways to win.
5 straight wins,
and that's five in a row, and that's the reason why this Alabama team is still in it, and the reason why there's Alabama is still Alabama, and they're doing it without their coach Nick Saban, and so Kalen DeBoer is pushing the right buttons and doing what he does for this Alabama team, and if he keeps them up and beats Tennessee tomorrow night, then I think they have a shot and a chance to be one of the best teams in the college football playoff. If not, they can. In fact, they even have a shot to make it to the SEC championship. And yeah, Alabama is still Alabama, and they're the team to beat in the SEC. And that's what I'm going to tell you right now. They are the team in the SEC right now, Blake.
Yeah. Listen, I understand that, but personally, I would argue that the University of Mississippi is the team to beat in the SEC right now. They've coming off of, now granted, their schedule hasn't been quite as tough quite yet, but they're coming off of 6 straight victories, and they're looking at 2 straight away games against Georgia and Oklahoma. The Ole Miss Rebels are. So
right.
I think this is a big season for the playoff credentials, for the national title credentials of Ole Miss and Lane Kiffin. We've heard a lot about this team over the past couple of years. We've heard a lot about Lane Kiffin and the program that he's building there. What's the town that Ole Miss is in? Is it
Oxford?
Yeah. Not Oxford, England. Oxford, Mississippi.
Yeah.
Very, very different places, for the record.
Right.
We've heard a lot about the program that they're building up there. I think this is a real make it or break it season. Go into Athens, beat Georgia. Go into Oklahoma. Okay, maybe you win one of 2, i.e., at Athens versus Georgia, at Norman versus Oklahoma. You win one of these 2 ball games. The rest of the schedule, no offense, South Carolina, not a massive game. They're playing against Cupcake and then Florida, Mississippi State. This Ole Miss team has a real chance to go be a top seeded team in this playoff and really make a statement.
Right.
They have to play better than they did against Washington State.
Correct.
Right. Because what you saw for the highlights of that film last week against Washington State is that they put a lot of points and a lot of pressure on Ole Miss, and that was really the difference in the game last week. So,
and Oklahoma, go ahead.
And and so to me, if Ole Miss is going to have a chance to win this game, they got to protect and take care of the football and control the line of scrimmage and score a lot of points. Is the only way you're going to beat Georgia. Other than that, they're not going to have a chance, and that's really the difference in this game. Because when I look at Georgia, I look at what they did last week against Auburn, where if you watch any of the game in their game last Saturday night when their game was being played at Jordan-Hare Stadium, what it looked like that Auburn was off to a great start when they were jumping into a 7-0 lead, except mid second quarter where things took a turn, where Auburn was about to punch the ball in the 1 yard goal line, where it was a first second to goal, I believe it was, where they thought they were going to score a touchdown, except there was a bunch of pile up and players that were involved in the scrum, and there was so much bodies in there that the officials just took a long time to review this, and it turns out one of the players from Georgia fumbled the football and took it all the way to the end zone, and the difference to the game was in the second half of that game, it was that Georgia was controlling the line of scrimmage, and they were a better team in the second half, and so I think, to me, in their game against Auburn, Jackson Arnold had some opportunities. They didn't get any points in the second half in that game, and that was the difference for me. And Auburn just played their best game, except Hugh Freeze was just yelling and frustrated by all the calls that they had by the officials in that game.
And that was keep with the refs for that one.
Yeah, that was what cost the Auburn Tigers this game. And Georgia just won their 9th straight against the Iron Bowl and won 30th position. And now Georgia returns home this Saturday as they take on the Ole Miss Red Bulls. So I think Georgia's going to win this game. I think Gunnar Stockton is much like he did in the game last week against Auburn. He is going to put up some more points, and I think their almost quarterback has more passing yards than Gunnar Stockton does. But Georgia is probably the favorite, and I think they're going to win this game by a close one.
Okay.
And then I think Gunnar Stockton and their star players are going to be the difference in this game. So I think the Georgia Bulldogs are going to be going to the hedges, but they're going to be running the ball a lot. They're going to be doing a passing and running the ball at the same time, and all at once. And I think Georgia at the end is going to win this game in a close one.
Okay. Fair enough. I can't argue with that, can I? They're about touchdown favorite at home against a team who are higher ranked than them. I think just for the sake of it, I'm kind of leaning the Rebels here, to be honest. I'm gonna go with the Rebels, go with the momentum that they have. But I mean, this is really a coin flip game. I think Georgia's favored by about a touchdown, given their history at home, despite that loss to the Crimson Tide. And yeah, I mean, this is a really interesting game. I mean, I think both of these teams will be in the playoffs. Both these teams will have national championship hopes. And I think you could probably say the same thing about Alabama versus Tennessee if we jump to that one, where Alabama is also about a touchdown favorite in that one at home against the Tennessee Volunteers. I think we really need to see Tennessee win a big game. We saw them lose a heartbreaker at home against Georgia this year in overtime. It's tough for me to have faith in them to go to Tuscaloosa and get a result, given kind of that checkered history they've had in these big games. But I don't know. Do we think Tennessee could pull one out here, or do we think? I guess it sounds like we're rolling with the Tide for the most part, right?
Yeah, it's going to be a long night and a tough shot for Joey Agaway for this as quarterback for this team. And so Josh Heupel is going to have a tall task at hand. He is going to be dialed up and just going to be having a long night for his team with the officials and calling a pass interference call, especially when they're on the defensive side of the ball. Yeah, I don't see it happening, Blake, but it's just going to be a long night for Tennessee team. I mean, let's face it, this game is not being played in Neyland Stadium, which is something that we've learned in the last few meetings between the teams. Is from what we've learned and found out is that it's a hard place to play. Well, now this year you're going to Bryant Denny, and that too is going to be a hard place to play as a visiting team. So it's going to be a tall task at hand. Going to require a lot of hard work, but yeah, I just don't see it happening.
Yeah. But Blake, I want to also point out there's another 6-0 team in the SEC
Huh?
that has not been mentioned this on this show.
I
The Aggies.
Oh, the Aggies. They slipping under the radar, aren't they?
They're slipping under the radar.
That's because, to be fair, they haven't played
They have a weaker schedule for
they
sure.
haven't played a ranked SEC opponent. They have
No.
gone into South Bend and won there by 1 point, 41-40 in that game.
hmm
They'll be facing a tougher test the next, maybe not this weekend and away at Arkansas, but perhaps
Yeah.
away at LSU, away at Missouri. They'll face more of a test. But yeah, I mean, given their schedule, they're avoiding the likes of Georgia and Alabama
hmm
in terms of their conference opponents. They
Yeah.
could definitely, I mean, if they sneak into the playoffs, they're ranked 4th right now. So it
Yeah.
wouldn't be much of a sneak, would it, if they find themselves in
Yeah.
the playoffs? So yeah, that's certainly a team to keep an eye on, isn't it?
Yeah.
But B.L. Weinberger. So I look at the South Carolina game this weekend. They are going to have a tall task at hand, and they're going to have to at Williams-Brice Stadium this weekend. Big game. They're going to be taking on John Mateer, who was coming off a loss last week in the Red River rivalry showdown between the headers of the Longhorns. Now they turn their attention to Lenore Sellers. South Carolina is an underdog in this game. They're not favored. OU is. Blake, this is B.L. Weinberger. This is going to be a tough, tall task between Shane Beamer and the Gamecocks as they scored an early touchdown against LSU at Death Valley in this game. And I saw the highlight that Spur did not have it and was feeling uncomfortable and did not like the atmosphere at Tiger Stadium in Death Valley in Baton Rouge. So, B.L. Weinberger, what say you about South Carolina against Oklahoma? Because Oklahoma is too much. They're probably going to win the game, but at least South Carolina can keep things close in the cover of my prediction. So, B.L. Weinberger, what say you?
Well, this is what say me, Jackson. I'm going to hitch my wagon to Oklahoma. I got bad news, man. Here's the Jackson. Here's the thing. Here's what we have to remember. Lenore Sellers is the same as he was last year, just as great, if not better. Here's the problem, Jackson. If you don't have an offensive line that can give him time, it doesn't matter. South Carolina has a terrible offensive line, and it's killing us. We have a decent defense. We've got a great quarterback. We have a terrible offensive lineman. Jackson, there's the reason why Troy Aikman back in the day would buy his offensive linemen ATVs and cars because they're the most important thing for a quarterback. South Carolina loses. I'm hitching my wagon to Oklahoma this weekend.
Well, I got no problem with it because Oklahoma is the favorite and the better team, like you said. But I'm sure we'll find out on Saturday. But yeah, I guess we'll learn more as the game goes on Saturday. But yeah, great prediction. So yeah,
I apologize, Jackson. I can tell you're sad about it. I apologize.
No,
It's the reality of the SEC, isn't it?
It really is, Blake. I mean, there's nothing wrong with it because of thanks in large part now that Oklahoma and Texas used to be a Big 12, adding new members to SEC. To your point, Blake, that makes things a lot tougher, and how things just got more interesting, I would say, because of how tough the league is now than it used to be. So yeah, times have changed in the world of college athletics.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, I think we've covered a college landscape this weekend pretty convincingly. I want to do a little bit of NFL, and then I want to leave a little bit of time as well to give a couple of predictions for some basketball and hockey coming up here. But we got some pretty big matchups in the NFL this weekend per usual, and definitely some news and notes to talk about. I think obviously looking forward to this weekend, we've got some big games on well, we got some big teams coming off some big losses. We got some big wins as well. Looking at the Eagles traveling to Minnesota, coming off of a disappointing couple of weeks this past week, aren't they? Obviously, that disappointing loss to the Giants on Thursday night. They'll be looking to bounce back in Minnesota into that one, and then obviously we saw a big bounce back, or I guess more of a establishment game for the Chiefs, beating the Lions Sunday night in a big matchup. Two teams that obviously have been successful the past couple of years and have their sights set on the playoffs. And we have to say probably the biggest surprise of the weekend. I'm not sure any of us would have predicted it this past weekend, I should say. The Falcons taking care of the Buffalo Bills at home on Monday night, and then as well on Monday night, unfortunately, to bring it up, Uncle Mike's Commanders suffering a heartbreaking last-minute loss on a field goal. But certainly some interesting matchups last weekend, and some teams this weekend that will be looking to bounce back for sure. Mike, I'll start with you and your Commanders. Obviously, you will be disappointed with the fashion of that defeat last weekend, but a big opportunity going into Jerry's World this upcoming Sunday to get things right, huh?
Yeah, I mean, historically, this has always been a big week for Washington football fans. Dallas week has always used to always be huge. Not so much anymore, but last week when you turn the ball over three times, you're not going to win too many ball games. And I think the real big play for the Commanders was Swift, his 55-yard touchdown run or pass. That hurt. And you look at the replay, missed tackles for sure. They should have just pushed him out of bounds. But they went for an arm tackle instead, and you can't arm tackle in the NFL.
Mark,
So,
Mike, to answer your question, the one play that they gotta do a better on and address is Jaden Daniels' fumble at the 1 yard line. I can explain. So the reason why he couldn't secure the ball is because it was ideal rainy weather conditions out there, and the ball was probably wet. He he
mhm.
he, he couldn't handle the ball, the snap very well. His hands were not very strong enough, and that could have played a factor into this. So I think to me, it was on him, and I blame it on the quarterback. And I think the Commanders, to me, have got to address with their offensive line and just try to get him set the right way, or else the fumble will happen, which is what he
Mhm.
did last night. But I look at the offensive side of the ball. Debo Samuel, he picked off by one of the Bears defenders who are not a great defense, but they found a way to. The Bears lead the league in the most takeaways this season, and to me that really hurt the Commanders, and that was really what hurt them is that Zach Ertz got a touchdown prior to the game, but there were some, I would say, missed opportunities for what the Commanders did because the Bears just had too many takeaways in this game, and Jalen Daniels did not secure the ball enough, and that to me it was on him to blame for, and I just think that to me the Commanders just kind of blew it, and that was really how it all was said and done, Mike.
Yeah, no, it's definitely a game that the Commanders lost. It wasn't so much that the Bears won.
Right.
And Jaden did say through the press it was, the game was on me,
Mm-hmm.
and so you got to give him credit for that. And the Commanders defense only allowed 3 of 10 uh you know first downs on third down. So they didn't
Right.
play, but um we'll play better in against the Cowboys. Probably one of the weaker defenses in the league.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you watched the highlights of their game last week against the Carolina Panthers, Rico Dowdle, who used to play for the Cowboys, his former team,
Hmm.
just the Cowboys defense couldn't stop him, and just like he ran all over them, scored a lot of points. That was the difference in their game last week. So I think to me, yes, the Commanders are favored in this game. Surprisingly, that should not happen. The Cowboys were a better team at home than they were last week. So to your point, Mike, the Commanders, their next three games,
Hmm.
their next 3 games. I don't trust their schedule. They have to go after the Cowboys game. They got to go at
Got
the
to go to the
Chiefs on
Chiefs,
Monday Night Football, and
Mm.
then after that game, your
Seahawks,
team
and
has
then
to host
Lions.
our Seahawks, and the Seahawks are a great team on the road. So I don't know, Mike. We'll have to wear our Seahawks gear and just really talk us back against your team for your family who are Commanders fans out there. But then after that, you got to host the Lions. So and then the Dolphins at Madrid, Spain. So yeah, I don't really trust your schedule from the way that's set up for your team, Mike.
No.
It's really tough.
But Commanders got one of the toughest schedules, and we don't. Our bye week is not until the week 12.
Wow, it's going to be a
So
long season for you guys.
it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough. But I think the Falcons.
Yeah. What about this Falcons
Falcons.
team? I've heard
Falcons
about.
going to. Yeah, they're going to beat the 49ers.
You think so? I mean,
Yeah.
what I know about the history of the Falcons, Mike, is they come off of a massive victory
Mhm.
against one of the best teams in the NFL, the Buffalo Bills, and then history says they will lay an egg the next week. But you're saying
Yeah.
otherwise?
Well, yeah, you look at the 49ers, they lost another defend linebacker. Fred Warner is out.
Safe to say the Niners have the injury bug right now, huh?
They got the injury bug, and
Mike,
they're
we gotta break the brace right now. If we break the brace, Jalen said get rid of the brace. I think if we break the brace, we
yeah.
break the curse, and Washington's back in it.
Oh, there's no doubt. We'll take care of the Cowboys.
Got to get the knee brace off of him.
Yeah.
He wants out of it. Release him. He's caged
That's
up
right.
right
Free JD.
Free. That's
Free
right.
JD. Yeah,
That's right.
absolutely.
So real quick. I know I know we're short out of time, but I do want to point out that the Buffalo Bills have lost their second straight game, which means they'll probably go into a bye week. They'll probably be a better team after the bye week, like they always are. But for now, for the time being, the New England Patriots are now your new leader of the AFC East. I think Drake
Not for
May.
long.
Yeah, well, we'll see about that. But I think Drake May and Mike Vrabel are building their culture in New England back to the glory days, and yes, and I'm hearing I say not for long, but I get it. They're not as great as the Buffalo Bills, but you got to hear me out.
Okay.
The New England Patriots, if they get other players healthy, Ronald Stevens and Drake May is always find some rookie star players on the upside of the ball, and guess what? They find ways to win a game, and New England is definitely a team that we're gonna watch, and I think what they're doing, building the culture for what Robert Kraft is doing since the days of Tom Brady, as a player since 2019, since last have a great win streak. The Patriots are back, and I think the Patriots are back to where they once was. So yeah, that's where they are.
Well, they'll win this week. They're playing the Titans, but
of course they are.
Cupcake.
Well, they are going up against Mike Vrabel's former team. Let's I'm definitely want to put that one out there too. So
Extra motivation for him.
yeah, definitely.
and the Panthers will be 4-3 at the end of the weekend.
Right. They're taking on the winless Jets.
Yeah.
That's certainly not a game that many people will be keeping an eye on. But I mean, the Panthers, you got to say they've been pretty competitive the past couple of weeks, haven't they? So
They have. I mean, but who would have thought this way into the season, Baltimore would be 1-5?
crazy.
Ooh.
They need a bye week.
They
need this bye week more than anybody.
They need this bye week. Yeah,
Hopefully get
absolutely.
Lamar back in there and get some momentum going. But man, yeah, that's certainly been kind of the surprise package in terms of teams that you wouldn't think. But I will say if they're able to rack up a couple of wins against the likes of the Dolphins, Browns, Bengals, Jets coming up in their schedule, maybe they'll be able to get back in the AFC playoff picture. But yeah, man, they've got their work cut out for them, don't they? So certainly an interesting story.
Yep, and also one thing to point out is that the NFC East. I feel like it's a division nobody really wants to win. So it's kind of one of those that's actually one of those things that's something that's unusual that we have to say in the NFL, which I feel like always is, but I feel like nobody cares about that division, which is kind of surprising. But who cares? I can that's all I can say about that. But then also what's interesting is that the NFC West is all tied up 4-2 with the 49ers, the Seahawks, and the Rams, and I'm here to tell you that the best teams in the NFC are from the West Coast. You got the Chargers, the Rams, the 49ers. I'm talking those teams are elite in the league so far. They're playing some great football right now, Blake, and that's all I can say about that. And then
What about the Buccaneers?
The Buccaneers, yes.
They're
the
elite.
Buccaneers, yes. The Buccaneers have the best record overall in the NFL. They are off to a great start, but they have a tall task ahead. They are going to go on the road in a hostile environment at Detroit to take on Dan Campbell and the Lions. And
Ooh.
yeah, but you got to hear me out with the Buccaneers for what they did last week. They find ways to win in their next man up mentality.
Right.
With Chris Godwin, Mike Evans, and Elmi Abuka out, and I do want to point out that the Seahawks and Buccaneers played each other in their home game last week in a high-scoring affair
Great
game.
Yeah.
Yes, and they were wearing their 50th season throwback uniform jerseys.
Lovely
the Buccaneers
uniforms.
were playing their creamsicles, and the Buccaneers were wearing their throwback
fantastic
Seahawks
uniforms.
logos, and that's a very classic game right there. And that was and I got to tell you something, Blake. They put a lot of fireworks in that game. And that was really the difference there, except for the Buccaneers, like they always do when they try the fourth quarter, find a game-winning drive to take the field goal. And that was really the difference in that game. But also in the NFL, the Chiefs are going to get back Rashee Rice this week, and with him, when he's not on the field, they're a different team. But when they get him back this week, they are going to be a dangerous team. Going forward, when they get him back on this offense, and the Chiefs are going to be a tough team to beat. I think in all the National Football League once they get him back healthy.
No, absolutely. Yeah, it's a good point, and a lot of these teams will be different in a couple weeks as we progress further into the season. So don't want to overreact too much to what we've seen so far, but certainly some worrying signs for some teams and some promising signs for other teams in the National Football League. So
yeah. And so real quick before we move on, Blake,
we got about 5 minutes left. We gotta move on to, if you want to do some predictions for hockey and basketball, we gotta move on here, man.
Right. So I want to make my prediction very quick for tonight's Thursday night football game.
Sure.
Once again,
Bengals.
Steelers, Bengals, very, very quickly here. So I've got the Pittsburgh Steelers winning by 2 touchdowns. Aaron Rodgers is going to throw a lot of balls and make big plays.
We're talking Jackson,
and DJ Metcalf and Jaron Warner and TJ Watt.
Rodgers.
The Pittsburgh Steelers are going to
baby.
beat the Bengals by 2 touchdowns.
The Iron Curtain. Let's go, Aaron.
The Steel Curtain is going to go to Cincinnati and quiet the crowd. And the Steelers are going to travel very well, and they're going to shut the Bengals down.
Rodgers is hot.
Well,
Rodgers is hot in the league.
Given the injuries the Bengals have had, the fact that Joe Flacco is now their quarterback, not a big surprise.
So you got 2 geriatric quarterbacks playing tonight.
We got Joe Flacco versus Aaron Rodgers in 2025. Yeah. Who would have thought, huh?
Yeah.
That's certainly an interesting matchup. I wouldn't argue against you, Jack. I think Pittsburgh is the favorite team in that one. So real quick, before we wrap up here, we got a couple minutes left. I know some of the boys on the show wanted to give some predictions for the NBA and the NHL season. Obviously, we are in the midst of the NHL season started last week. Obviously, some big storylines. Florida Panthers looking to complete a three-peat, obviously back-to-back Stanley Cup champions. Plenty of competition in the Eastern Conference for them. But Jackson, I'll give the floor to you. We've got a few minutes left. We'll start with some thoughts on the NHL. Who do you like from the East? Who do you like from the West this year, man?
So who I like from the East, I'm going to go with the Tampa Bay Lightning over the Carolina Hurricanes, and in the West, I am going to go with the Dallas Stars over the Vegas Golden Knights.
So say it again. Who's your Stanley Cup matchup?
I have Tampa Bay beating the Carolina Hurricanes.
That's
and I
very
have
insulting.
And I have the Vegas and I have the Dallas Stars beating the Vegas Golden Knights in the West.
You got Tampa versus Dallas, huh?
Yes.
Are you sure this isn't a battle of the warmest cities in the U.S.? I mean, Tampa versus Dallas for a Stanley Cup. I mean, what's going on here, man?
Well, it's happened before when we had Florida and Vegas a couple of years ago. So why not again? Why not give it another try?
I disagree. I'm going to give you a not so fast finger, Lee Corso finger here, Jackson. I think this is the year the Carolina Hurricanes will finally get over the hump and win the Eastern Conference. Am I biased? Yes. Have I said this the last couple of years? Yes. Am I going to say it again? Absolutely. I'm taking the Carolina Hurricanes to win the Eastern Conference, and I think they will match up against the Colorado Avalanche in the Cup final, with Carolina taking it in a Game 7. Carolina versus Colorado. Book it now for this summer's Cup final, man. That's what I'm saying. Mike, what do you think?
Oh, well.
Don't tell me you're going to pick the Capitals.
Well, of course.
Oh, here we go.
Here we go again.
Of course. Gotta go all caps.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
And they'll play the Minnesota Wild.
Oh, nice. I like it. I like it.
Ooh.
Good to see the Wild doing well. BL Limburger, before we go here, last word to you. Stanley Cup matchup. Who you like from the East? Who you like from the West here, man?
I'm going to be a Carolina Hurricanes, and Tampa's had our number, but the Carolina Hurricanes, no, the Panthers had our number. Carolina Hurricanes versus Dallas. I like it, Jackson. Hey, those Canadians, they're tired of being cold,
Carolina,
man.
Dallas.
They like the warm cities. Yeah.
Hey, I'm with you, Blake. I know Blake's biased on this, but I'm with you there.
Hey, listen, we're all a bit biased, aren't we?
Jack.
Very nice, very nice. Well, we got certainly an exciting NHL season coming up, just kicking off this week. NBA season starts next week, so I think we're going to do our NBA predictions for the finals on the show next week. So we'll get to that. But I just want to say thank you for joining us for a very exciting show. Thanks, Jackson, B.L. Limburger, Mike Roby. We covered a lot of ground here tonight. We got some exciting playoff baseball, some exciting football. Things are really heating up here in the sports world, and things are heating up here on Good Guys Sports. So thank you all for joining us, and have a great weekend watching some great sports, guys.
See you guys.
Thank you. All right. See you guys.
Bye.